Hi everyone, this is Noah Sandler from Mtgo Academy, and today I'm doing a two-player Legacy Cube Phantom Sealed. I'll actually do a few of them. So this is a new format on Magic Online that they enabled for the mocks, which is going to be Legacy Cube Sealed. So they open up these two-player queues. They're just quick firing. You build a sealed pool and you play a heads-up match of cube. And after that's done, you can fire up another one. They're extremely addictive. I've actually had to just take a week off, just vow not to play any more of these. But I need to do a video, so figured I would do a few for that. But the format itself, yeah, really addictive. Just being able to open up a whole new sealed pool, build a deck, and play with it, and then just get on to the next one immediately after is pretty exciting. The one negative is it's possibly the worst Legacy Cube pool. I guess the worst version of the Legacy Cube that they've had on Magic Online, because it has vampires in black, and they just neutered mono red and made it just a lot weaker and less focused, which in a sealed format makes it even worse because you can't actually be mono red. So like the archetype itself is already going to suffer, and then vampires is completely unplayable. So it makes it kind of hard to play black. Usually you can splash black, but usually blue and green and white are the best colors. But yeah, it's still cube. It's really fun. Only about 3 tickets to enter each one. So yeah, get it while you can. I don't know how much longer they're up for, but I mean, hopefully they bring back something like this in the future. First thing I do with these pools, I look at the blue, because usually blue is going to be one of the main colors, and blue's kind of shallow in this pool. Moldrifter, Venser, Sower, Miscalc, Manaleek, those are all good, but nothing really exciting. White is also kind of shallow. Wrath, Elspeth, Day of Judgment, sort of control-ish, but no real late game. There's a lot of black cards, a lot of green cards. So normally black is awful. There is a Gristlebrand. I see Animate Dead, Una's Prowler, Diabolic Servitude. So there are some Reanimator cards, and Liliana Vest can act as tutor effects. So that also supports that. And I've really been wanting to do Reanimator in this Legacy Cube, but because black has all these vampire cards, it's frequently difficult. So yeah, it'd be cool if we can pull that off. Red Splinter Twin, but none of the combos with it. Flame Tenkavu Sneak Attack could be interesting with like a Reanimator package. So I'm usually not a big Sneak Attack fan, especially in sealed. Like if you draft, you can draft like the perfect cards around it. In sealed, you just have to randomly have them all. Scape Shift in green. What is that card doing in this cube? So there's some good fatties in green. Courser. There's a little bit of ramp. So green's solid, not super exciting. And then for gold cards, Abrupt Decay, Dreadbore, some good green-blue, Cure, Dragon Predator. So let's look at the lands. So Badlands and Wooded Foothills. So we have some decent red-black fixing. Some green-blue. Scrubland. So a lot of blue fixing. Watery Grave. And Mindstone probably going to make the cut. Whenever Basalt Molluth, Solemn, and Kozilek. Kozilek's decent with Sneak Attack. Could potentially do that. So if we do Reanimator, I like to look at blue, see if there's any discard effects. And there's a Merfolk Looter. Let's start looking at what black looks like. So I guess this card's okay, but it seems kind of weak. Skinner is nice. Disciple, probably not that great. So Servitude, Consuming Vapors is really good. Necromancer's not that exciting. Ultimate Price, Painseer, Una's Prowler, Dark Confidant, and Animate Dead. So for red, could be FTK, Bonfire, Sneak Attack, Dread Boar. Red's not super deep. The white, white just doesn't do that much here. So blue's reasonable, red's okay, and I could maybe do red, blue, black. I do have a Watery Grave. Like I have some decent red, blue fixing, blue, black fixing. Could maybe run Kozilek. Like, it's pretty good with Sneak Attack. I'm certainly happy to sneak a Kozilek into play, but to actually run Sneak Attack and run Kozilek when you might have a lot of difficulty casting it otherwise, and it doesn't necessarily win the game when you sneak it out. I mean, it's good, sack 4 permanents and have to chump, but I'm not sure if it's going to be worth running. We do have Scrubland out of our ways, so we could try for some kind of white splash too, but I don't think there's much that we'd want to splash. So let's see, Dreadbore, Bonfire, FTK. I mean, there's some other okay red cards. So Prophetic Bolt would go in. Fire Ice. And yeah, the green's solid. Green is almost always solid in this format. It's pretty hard to get a really bad green pool. It's just a lot of ramp, some big creatures, planeswalkers, and then like big fatties. But in general, like this is I think maybe like a bit subpar for the average green pool, but it's fine. Like I could be just black green, can play the Abrupt Decay, and maybe could go for a splash somewhere. So we've got Llanowar Waste, Breeding Pool. I mean, red's not that exciting. Dreadbore, Prophetic Bolt is nice. FTK is good. Bonfire is okay. It's good with Liliana Vess. Kozilek, the whole sneak attack plan, I don't think I'm a big fan of here. So Kozilek probably goes. Got 9 minutes left. Young Pyromancer could be okay if we're a little heavier red. Disciple of Bolas doesn't seem that great. So let's look at the blue. So Muldrifter, Venser, Sower, Dismiss, Kira maybe, Miscalc, Looter, Mana Leak. And some other cards I could run: Stroke, Think Twice, Augur. And then another option could be Bug. So would have pretty good fixing for blue if I cut the red. I could splash Kiora, Muldrifter. I guess those probably. The green's reasonable. It doesn't have anything that supports the like Reanimator theme at all. Blue at least has Merfolk Looter. And is Basalt Monolith good here? Could help with Gristlebrand, but you still need the 4 black. So it doesn't seem that great here. With the green deck, it would be good. So yeah, maybe I'll take a look at green. Also, the Confidant and Painseer is a little... I mean, I'd probably run at least Confidant anyway, even with the Gristlebrand. I feel like the card is just so strong. It's worth it unless if you're running just like a bunch of 8+ drops, or your deck is really slow and you've got a lot of 5s and 6s. But generally, you're just going to take like 1.5 damage a turn, which is worth an extra card. Trades off easily. So I think it's generally underrated in Cube. I could maybe do like a red-black aggro deck. I think I'll take a little look at that. And I could maybe splash Prophetic Bolt on top. So Active Aggression, Avalanche Riders, Young Pyromancer, War Marshal, maybe Kiln Fiend. That's a little sketchy, so Lacerator. I guess Bloodlord of Azgoth would be okay if I'm aggressive. It's like a 6/6 flyer for 5. That doesn't seem that exciting. Necromancer might have a few humans. I guess Noble's a vampire. Helps with Bloodlord. Remember, another human dies, get a zombie. I have some other humans. Deck feels a little bit weak. I could play Winter Orb in that. Aether Vial. Yeah, not a big fan of that. I mean, it makes the Confidant and Painseer plan a lot better. So I think that's what I like about it. But I don't really like the blue much either, so I might just go for the red-black plan and see how that works. I think it'd be a more interesting build. Just gonna run Winter Orb. It is kind of clunky though. And I could also just cut the blue. Let's see, how many ways? I got the Prowler and Liliana Vest. Those are the ways to get Gristlebrand in the yard. So maybe I could just cut Gristlebrand and like the Servitude. Just try to be really aggressive. So yeah, this is a tough pull. There's a lot of directions you can go with this. I could side into this red-black on the play. I mean, it is a bit weak. It's not a super exciting build. So, don't have too much time left. So I think I'm gonna jump into, I feel like maybe just green-black is kind of a safe bet here. So do I want Servitude? At least Animate Dead. Yeah, now the Confidant is kind of sketchy. I've got a few 8-drops. This is 19. 20 with Abrupt Decay. I'd play Basalt Monolith, Mindstone, Solemn. That's 23. I could maybe run Kozilek. Got 3 fatties already. Freyalise, Monolith, Help. And then I just have a couple ramp spells. But I think this looks good. So 17 lands. We got Foothills. Helps with Avenger. And Courser. And Llanowar Waste. That's our fixing. I could do a light blue splash. I could fit Cura in. And Moldrifter. So I could cut Regrowth. And Mindstone maybe. But I think this is fine. I think a blue splash would be reasonable too. So it's like 8/7, which is basically 9/7 with the Foothills, because we do have Gristlebrand. We have like Elves, Caryatid, Solemn that can get us extra black. I think this is fine. Alright. So I'll see you for round 1, which is the only round. Okay, built our deck. Now we're ready to play. So we'll keep this hand. It's solid, turn 1 elf. Has no end game yet, but some decent removal, so we can draw into something powerful. The hand has a lot of potential. But Gristlebrand's pretty powerful. Okay, opponent showing Grixis, plays a Coalition Relic. Oh, nice. Let's decay that. Actually, correct play there is attack with elves first. If opponent has some, like a burst lightning, and they're thinking they want to ramp up to 6 next turn, they might take the hit. Pretty minor, but worth noting. Okay. So hand's a bit awkward. Hopefully opponent plays some threats we can use the price and skin render on, and then just eventually drop Gristlebrand. Okay, Stormbreath Dragon's fine. Let's price that. Well, we're at Gristlebrand mana. And we can even play around something like Days too. Well, not playing this into that. There's a lot of counters for 2 blue and 1. So I'll give the opponent a turn here to tap out for something. In fact, maybe I should have... I kept the forest in case opponent had something like him, but perhaps I should have just played it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So opponent does counter core, so I could go for a Gristlebrand here, but then I would be playing into something like Days, so it's possible I'd want to just wait another turn. Okay, Freyleys. Yeah, that's nice. Gives us some pretty good pressure. So we'll drop the land from hand here now. Okay, gifts and given. I mean, opponent might just be getting like some kind of Unbarrow Rights combination. They could just get 2 fatties for reanimation plan, or they could get like 4 just really strong cards like planeswalkers, counterspells. So this could be pretty annoying if they get just a value gifts. Well, wow. So, Pestermite, Kiki-Jiki, Necromancy, Sphinx's Revelation. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yikes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. Kind of interesting. I mean, first of all, Sphinx's Revelation seems pretty scary to begin with. Opponent could draw 5 cards. And they get to wait till the end of my turn, so I could even leave up counter for Gristlebrand. Now, Pestermite, Kiki-Jiki probably just kills us. We'll probably not have time to skin render one of those, so can't give them both of those. So we could give them Sphinx's Rev and 1 part of the combo. So, and since we do have the skin render, I think maybe we want to give them Kiki-Jiki. So we could give them Sphinx's Rev and Kiki-Jiki. I mean, the Necromancy is, for either Pestermite or Kiki-Jiki, so, I mean, we either have to give them, we have to give them Sphinx's Rev and something. So I feel like probably Sphinx's Rev, Kiki-Jiki is a little safer than giving Pestermite, since they might just play Kiki-Jiki, we could skin render it. So put a card in the player's graveyard. So let's put Necromancy and Pestermite. Now if they have Deceiver Exarch, there's also Splinter Twin, Zealous Conscripts, then maybe giving Kiki-Jiki would be worse. So if they have Exarch in hand right now, then we're dead. So hopefully not. But it's a pretty good gifts for them. So now we don't want to give opponent any time to cast that Sphinx's Rev, so we're just gonna play out our threats as quickly as possible, and might just be Gristlebrand. I mean, nothing's changed, so I still feel like it's likely opponent has a counter. But there's a lot more urgency because we just can't have them resolve Sphinx's Rev then untap, then they'll definitely have a counter. So I could have okay, draw Sept. Yeah, I think I just throw down Gristlebrand. Let's see if I Freyleys. 1, 2, 5. So I'd have 6 mana left. And Freyleys is decent, but I don't know that I'm going to counter with it. Could either kill the sphere or plus it. Probably plus it. But next turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could potentially cast Liliana and Freyleys. So yeah, I'm going to go for the Gristlebrand here. Let's see, so I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Tap a Caryatid for black. Tap Monolith and Forest. So I'll leave the Elves up, and then end a turn I can untap the Monolith. And that lets me go for Freyleys, Liliana. It's certainly possible opponent doesn't have a counter here, but from the way the game played out, I think they spent enough turns with like double blue and one up, and there's just a lot of counters in the format. Okay, so it resolves. Might as well draw 7 here. Harmonize on top. So we didn't draw anything really disruptive. I'll take a quick check at my deck. See if there's something that could disrupt their combo that I might be able to draw into. So Scavenging Ooze, that could be cool. And that's it for main deck. I guess also Regrowth. And I do have enough mana to regrowth something like Abrupt Decay or Ultimate Price. So I could draw another 7 here. So we'll just go Mind Stone, pass. Or attack with Courser. Okay, there's the rev for 5. And I think I just pass. I don't really want Harmonize, but I think it's okay. Excuse me. Okay, Glenalendra. We could use Skin Render on that. Just get some -1/-1 counters, it won't come back from Persist. If opponent has something like Control Magic for Gristlebrand, we could go Skin Render, Glenalendra, and then Freyalise, the enchantment. They might play Kiki-Jiki here. Okay, Metamorph. So on Gristlebrand. But we have Freyalise, so we can go Skin Render and Freyalise destroy the Gristlebrand since it's an artifact. Well, I'm definitely going to tap the Monolith. I'll just tap that now. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to play out the rest of the turn, so I'm not playing land yet. Maybe I'm going to shuffle with Elves and want to Courser, draw cards off Gristlebrand or something. Okay, pay for Spell Pierce. If opponent draws cards, they're just dead. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So even if we draw cards, we can't get Stroke of Genius out of the game. So, could probably draw here. Animate Dead. 7, 8, 9, 10. We can do 13 with Storm Breath. So we're 1 short. We could play a land, and we'd be 1 short of Prowler, Animate Dead, like Primus or something. We can Animate Dead the Glenlundra Archmage. So 7, 9, 10, 13. Yeah, we can get opponent to 1. But maybe we'll just get the Archmage. Can use it with Caryatid. Opponent would get it back, but it just lets me counter 1 spell. And I have no protection if opponent has like Kiki Jiki for the win next turn, so seems like the most I can disrupt my opponent here. Probably don't need any other card draw. So yeah, if opponent does have Exarch, if they're trying to use something like Necromancy to get the Pestermite back, then that's not going to be enough. But if they just have Exarch, Kiki Jiki, then we do lose. It is hard to get Exarch, Pestermite, Kiki Jiki, Splinter Twin, Conscripts all in the same pool, because it is sealed. Tension Sphere. Yeah, I guess we counter that. If the opponent chooses Animate Dead, they just get their Glenlundra back with 2 counters. This way they get their Glenlundra. 2 uses. This way they have a counter on it. Museum Mortars. Okay. So yeah, we'll just Consuming Vapors and attack for lethal. Alright. So opponent's on Twin. They've got some good artifacts and enchantments. Sphinx's Rev, Pestermite, Gifts. I do think if I lose this game, I think the red-black deck might be pretty good against them. Just go as fast as possible. On the draw, not as sure about that. So trying to see if there's some reason to side into like the Grixis deck. Would get some counters with the blue. This could be nice to have some disruption. Could I maybe splash green? I don't know if I have the fixing. I guess I have Breeding Pool. Grave River. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna side out the greens so Monolith can go ways. And I'd have to cut the foothills, just getting the Breeding Pool isn't going to be enough. So all of this green I think goes. Could play Kiora, Trigon Predator, maybe Shardless Agent. So Muldrifter, Venser, Sower, Dismiss, Kira, Miscalc. Yeah, with these counters probably don't want Shardless Agent. Looter, maybe think twice. Servitude. This is 21. So, oh, 5 seconds? No! I don't have time. I guess I'll just have to resubmit. Spent too much time on that. So yeah, guess we're running it back. And then for game 3, I'll consider either going into the bug or... sounds okay. I'll consider going into the bug or into just like the red-black beatdown deck. His opponent seems a bit slow. Waterfront Bouncer. Could just price that. I mean, Consuming Vapors could be okay against it. Though, I mean, price could give me some protection against combo later. I've got Abrupt Decay for now. I think I'll just price it. That's pretty good against my Skin Render. There's the Relic, though. Probably just want to kill that. I mean, I could get comboed out, but I mean, they're frickin', 2 cards potentially. I don't want to, like, Relic is just, like, it just opens up a lot of stuff. Opponent does have Sphinx's Rev. They don't necessarily have their black or white mana yet without the Relic. Right, and we wait. So I'm not excited that we had to lose our like 2 instant speed removal spells that are great against this combo there. So, I don't know. Might feel a little bit wrong. I have gifts. Now this could end up pretty good for us. Because of our Animate Dead, if they try to go for the combo, putting like a Kiki Jiki in the graveyard, we could just Animate Dead the Kiki Jiki and just steal it from the graveyard. So I'm probably going to end up giving them Necromancy. I mean, they will have one turn to just main phase Necromancy, but if the other card in their hand is Pestermite, they're probably just going to wait till the end of my turn, use Pestermite, and then go for it, or even wait longer. Rather than like give me a chance to use sorcery speed removal like Skin Render or Vapors. So I might have the opportunity to just Animate Dead something from the graveyard. And disrupt their combo that way. Of course, if they are able to kill the creature, then they could just use their Necromancy afterward. But it could buy me some time. Okay, a little different. Kiki Jiki, Stormbreath Dragon, Archmage, Kaiga. Now, I do have Consuming Vapors. I feel like I do not want to give opponent the Archmage. That seems like the most annoying one. Oh, I guess I could Skin Render it. That's not so bad. I mean, probably just put Kiki Jiki in the graveyard. And I guess Kaiga, I could Animate Dead the Kaiga. Yeah, like the Skin Render on Archmage is a really strong play. So I think that's what I'm going to do. If opponent just passes, I think I have to Animate Dead their Kiki Jiki lest I die to the combo. I mean, they didn't go for Pestermite there. They didn't go for Necromancy there. So it's like it's a little interesting. It's possible they have the other combo piece in their hand. Okay, Stormbreath Dragon. So I can just go Animate Dead Kaiga, play Caryatid here. Hopefully opponent goes for Archmage next turn. I mean, could also Consuming Vapors, but I think this might give me a little more, like I might be able to get some advantage off the Vapors this way. I don't know, could be wrong. Also lets me get the Caryatid into play this turn. Top in this spot would be pretty scary. Okay, opponent did top, because, I mean, I imagine there's only so many cards that opponent really wants to draw here, like a combo piece, Sphinx's Revelation. So yeah, I'm kind of sketched up at that top. So they probably go for Archmage here, leave up a blue, seems like a safe play for them. We get them with Skin Render. And probably just keep Kaiga back. Like opponent could, with a land that could Monstrous Storm Breath. So I might take like 9 damage if I attack with the Kaiga here. Or if I just leave back Kaiga, opponent can't attack because I would just steal their Storm Breath. So I don't think it's worth like racing for damage here. Though, on the other hand, if I do make that play, then I can... Well, this is a little scary. It just passes. If I draw a land, you know, maybe Primus on Blood Crypt might be the nut line here. I draw a land. Mind Stone, not a land. Let's see. Vapors myself. Nah, I'll just Vapors opponent. Should have left that Mind Stone there, but I'm very unlikely to sack it since I just need another land for Primus. Could definitely be dead here. Like, they kept the card on top. Okay, forbid. Don't mind that too much. So if we attack, they attack back for 8, so they'd be at 13. But they also might not want a monstrous. I mean, it gives me. I do take 4 extra damage, but then I get to get Skin Render in the next turn. So play Primus. Kaiga back, it's still not lethal. I think I can send here. Okay, just take 4. Wood Elves. So I guess I wanna... Well, I guess I just go for Primus. See what happens. It's probably best to hit Blood Crypt to prevent Necromancy compared to White, which could be, well... Detention Sphere on Animate Dead could be pretty strong. And Sphinx's Rev is, like, obviously pretty good. I feel like opponent probably has more white sources than red sources left, so it's kind of close. Yeah, I'll go for white. I have Repeal. That's definitely scary. So opponent can put me to 8. Just play Kaiga, and Kaiga's going to be a beast on this board. Oh, and they had Attention Sphere, and, well, Confluence means it didn't matter which I picked. Good news is their deck does seem extremely slow. So if I do lose this game deciding to red-black on the play, I should probably run them over. And I mean, it doesn't seem like they have much like cheap removal. I mean, their deck is pretty clunky, so something like Dark Confidant could do a lot of damage. Well, to my opponent and to me, but, you know, be good for me overall. Okay, Metamorph. Storm Breath, opponent's just going for the quick kill. To get a nope. Nope. Alright. Let's sign that red-black deck. So Gristlebrain goes out. Bloodlord probably goes in. Necromancer is probably okay. Lacerator, Bonfire could be okay. Active Aggression, it's probably worth it. Splinter Twin, FTK, Avalanche Riders, maybe Kiln Fiend's fine. So Badlands. Foothills, so may or may not want Mind Stone. Winter Orb, maybe Solemn, not sure about that. And I could splash blue, could get Prophetic Bolt. So do I want Bonfire? Let's go with Liliana. Probably don't want the Mind Stone. Well, Fire Ice could disrupt opponent if they go for Pestermite kill. Can kill Kiki-Jiki, tap down a blocker. This has me at 23. So I guess I could run Watery Grave. Just for the Fire Ice. Yeah, I don't really want to run Solemn. So 59 seconds left. Do like Prophetic Bolt. Let's see, Disciple of Bolas. Doesn't seem very great. Alright, I'm going to get Prophetic Bolt in. Still maybe Solemn out. 1, 2, 3. So Underground and Temple can come in. Aether Vial could be reasonable. But this seems good. Alright, probably don't need any more islands, so 6/6. A little more red, a little more black. That seems good. Alright, on the play, let's do it. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Dark Confidant turn 2. Opponent goes bottom. Sphere of the Suns. Okay, hit a land. So we can go Mog War Marshal. And probably just won't pay upkeep. I don't think opponent has much beyond Detention Sphere to deal with the Confidant, and they just pass. They could have like a Gifts here. So let's stack it like this. So I see what I draw off Confidant first. I could pay Echo here. It does give me an extra damage, and then eventually get an extra token. I mean, it's just if I draw like a 3-drop or a 4-drop. And that's Zathrid Necromancer, Hordling Outburst, Avalanche Riders. That's it. That's not that much. I feel like Echo's probably worth it. Okay, we've got mana up in case if they go for combo, too. Probably fire if they go for Pestermite. So they would tap a land. Sure, gifts. They're going to be pretty slow, and if they go for combo, I have Ultimate Price, Fire Ice, and I also have Winter Orb, which could be insane here. If they go for just some kind of like 5-mana creature, like a Stormbreath Dragon type card, and I Winter Orb after, I might just lock them out. I guess this sealed was a good example of, why you should always keep in mind like completely different decks. In addition to just changing a card or two based on a matchup, whether you're on the play or the draw, like if you're gonna be on the play, a decent number of times it's best to just side into like an aggressive deck if you have it. I think I'd love for opponents to go for Stormbreath, so I want to give them that. And then like they could still play Devil's Play from the graveyard. If they have a mountain, they'd have to use a counter, take a pain, and I could drop Winter Orb, so to kill Confidant. And then Pestermite. I mean, how bad is Pestermite? I can just Ultimate Price it or Fire Ice it. So I think I just put the play Incinerating Yard. Or just the Pestermite, I don't know. It still is annoying, so maybe Pestermite Incinerate. No, I want opponent to tap out. Give him Devil's Play. I don't want to give him Devil's Play Pestermite. I mean, they might not have the other red, though, so maybe I'll just dump both the burn spells in the graveyard. So get Pestermite, Stormbreath. So I can Tarn for a mountain. I'm going for Glenalundra. Okay, this is a pretty nice play, so I'll go Fire on Glenalundra. And I guess I have some options. I could just attack with all. Like, I could price it, play Winter Orb, even play Noble after. That's actually really good. I 10. They get to play Pestermites, untap a land. They could maybe twin. Seem pretty safe. Other option is Kavu and Noble, or attack and Bloodlord. Now let's go ultimate price. Oh wow, that was a huge punt by them. They certainly didn't think that Winter Orb was hitting play, but they could have just waited to sack Tarn, and instead they went for Blood Crypt. Like that was just kind of a, they assumed my turn was over, but they could have gotten an untap land instead. They got a tap land, so they were just trying to like speed things up, but that really punished them. That said, I feel like I'm probably winning this game anyway. But, I mean, that takes them a whole turn back. Alright, jam with everything. Probably not worth playing Prowler. I think it's a little bit risky. Oh, repeal Winter Orb. That's good. They are out of Sphere of the Suns. Is this Wildfire? Mizium Mortars. Ouch. Oh, the Mog War Marshal! It's still left over. And there's the Winter Orb. There's the Necromancer. And I guess Pang Echo made a nice difference there. That should do it. So after this is done, I'll jump into another sealed queue and just finish the video with that. Cool, so entered with 30 play points, get 50 back, so it's a losing proposition long term unless if you're like a ridiculous winner, which may or may not be possible based on the rake, but either way, it's so much fun. So I'll end video here and start up on the next one. Alright, gonna jump into another queue. So we'll start by looking at the blue. Blue's pretty good. Ancestral Vision, Control Magic, Archmage, Factor Fiction, some counters, Cyclonic Rift. So yeah, blue's looking pretty good. White, Mother Runes, Elspeth, Fetters, Armageddon, Council's Judgment, Splicer. White's okay. Black, Liliana, Dismember. That's going to be in the deck. Black's a bit shallow. Red, FTK, Stagger Shock, Incinerate. A lot of Burn. Hellrider, Siege Gang. A little shallow. Green, nothing huge. Green Sun Zenith, Silverheart, Oracle, Witness, Courser, Caryatid, Cobra, Ramp. So no big high end on the green, but it's pretty solid. So I'm guessing it's going to be like blue, red, blue, green. So there's a Supreme Verdict, Ashiok, Prophetic Bolt, Keranos. It's a nice blue, red. And a bunch of cheap artifacts. So top, Chalice, Revoker, Spellskite, Sphere. And for lands, Seed, Deceit, Summit, Badlands. So I could definitely try for like a Grixis deck. Or maybe red, white, blue. Definitely red, blue, I think. Keranos Prophetic Bolt, FTK, Incinerate, Burst Lightning, that's pretty good. So we could get Supreme Verdict, Lightning Helix. Might depend on the mana base, so Isolate Chapel, there's Temple of Enlightenment for white, blue. And then for black, there's Ashiok. Maybe on Barrel Rights. And I could go for like a 4-color deck as well. Or 5. Let's see, maybe Liliana. Rights, Necrotal, Ophiomancer, Ultimate Price, Knight's Whisper. Black's reasonable. So we'll put all this blue in. And the white's also pretty good. Okay, there's a couple of miracles, so if there's a lot of, I mean there's a top, that's about it. As far as like blue cards I could put when the miracle's on top. Could maybe be, could be some kind of 4-color deck here. Other runes, Wall Omens, Armageddon, Mana Tithe, Supreme Verdict, Helix, Gerard's Verdict maybe. Then we could get the Isolated Chapel in. I'm thinking like a 4-color control could be best here. Definitely 3 colors. Stagger Shock is also reasonable. In a 4-color deck I wouldn't make the cut. Verdict's double white. So there's Verdict, Elspeth, Council's Judgment as nice double white cards. Black, there's not that much that's pushing us into like double black. Liliana's good. Necrotal's not that important. So we got 2 temples, Sea, Badlands Summit, Chapel. So the red might not be too important. We could minimize red quite a bit to like FTK, Keranos, Prophetic Bolt. Don't necessarily need the Helix, because like an off-color gold card is pretty hard to cast. But these 3 are really strong. We can cut stuff like Kira, Bouncer, Dismiss, probably Time Warp. So we could go for, I think the options are between, we're probably going to have just a blue base regardless. Maybe there's a black, white, red deck here. But then there's not much of a reason for the red. Just because we'd have, I guess, like a little bit of fixing. So it'd be like a black-white deck. And could splash a little bit of blue for Ashiok, Archmage, Factor Fiction. Because there's a lot of good blue cards, but also don't have to be like heavy main blue. We got the Spherisms too. That's gonna help with the mana quite a bit. So the options are either like kind of a 4-color deck where I'm just gonna be splashing everything, so I'm gonna minimize double color cards, or I mean double 1 symbol. Like I wouldn't play Necrotal. Or I could have one of the colors or 2 of the colors be a base, and then splash the others. So of the bases, I'm not interested in red at all, but I mean white has some really nice double colored cards. Blue has some good ones, and also the Ancestral Vision, which you'd want to play a lot of islands for. So that's kind of like a double color card. You want to get it on turn 1 if possible. And then black, it's mostly for the Liliana. which could be worth it, but could also just start with blue-white. So I guess let's first look at, let's just get rid of a lot of these. Like, let's just take the most powerful cards and get rid of the ones that are less likely to make the cut if we go for just like a full power build. Chalice probably not going to make it. Spellskite, maybe. Let's try cutting the double white at first. Probably cut Geddon. This could maybe splash Fetters. Or I guess if we're gonna be like blue black base splashing red, we probably just ignore the white. I don't think, like, if we're not going for the double white cards, I don't think the white is that strong. So this deck would be just like Grixis, and yeah, we could play Necrotal, Night's Whisper Ultimate Price. Probably Forbidden Alchemy would be good. Vampire Hexmage maybe. Graveborn Muse is also okay. Could run the Spellskite, dismiss. So, and there's some Burial Rites. We can probably just cut that. So we'll get rid of the white fixing. And this looks pretty good, although it's very short on win conditions, which probably is a problem. So I'd want to do something to fix that. Spellskite doesn't really help with that. Maybe Blood Witch would want to get in. And then white has Elspeth, maybe Cloudguard Ranger to help with the win conditions. Red doesn't have anything else that helps. So, I mean, we'd win with like just a long game Keranos, just getting card advantage off of it. Maybe an Ashiok, Student or Control Magic on a good creature. And that's about it. And that's kind of small for a control deck. You'd want to have more ways to win a game. So, yeah, I feel like that's probably enough of a problem that I'm going to look a little harder at the white. So, let's get rid of most of the black, I think. So we can maybe put Entreat the Angels in. Don't need a way to guarantee it goes on top. And triple white, it's kind of hard. Maybe Terminus. So it could just be like a blue-white control base, and just splash for Ashiok, Keranos, Bolt, maybe FTK. Geddon could be reasonable if we can get board advantage. It's fine. It just finishes the game. So in a way, it acts as a win condition in that sense. But I think we're gonna have to cut a ton of cards, so it's probably not gonna make the cut. Barrel Rights could be cool. We've got some creatures that it works really well with, and the deck's gonna be pretty grindy. So I might want that. Get back like FTK, Student, Archmage, Splicer, Omens, just for some value, Cloudguard Ranger. Maybe Terminus can go, since we already have the Supreme Verdict. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 27 spells right now. So Forbidden Alchemy can go. Mana Tithe. In a 4-color deck, it's hard to just keep white up all the time. Lightning Helix, Spellskite. Should be easy enough. Like, Ashiok's pretty powerful. I feel like I want to make that work. I could also just minimize the black, like cut rights for Lightning Helix. And I mean, either way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got black. We've got 5 black sources right now. I do like Wall of Omens. It kind of sits back and protects planeswalkers. Maybe Revoker can go. It's usually better in more aggressive decks. You can put pressure on an opponent while it like holds off a planeswalker. So we have counters, we have some removal, have some planeswalkers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we gotta make one more cut. So yeah, this was a tough build. Maybe Mother of Runes. And Barrel Rights won't have that many targets. The ones it does have are good. So maybe Rights out. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and we're at 23. Let's get around this. We've got 1, 2 red sources, so might want 2 mountains, and then the rest blue and white. 1, 2 white sources, we'd want at least 7. And then 1, 2, 3 blue, we'd want 8. Something like this. This would be 7, 8, and 3, plus the sphere. So not the best mana base, but I think that's fine. I do think Ashok's pretty important in the deck, because you could just cut the black and make it slightly more streamlined. Maybe cut the red, but I think Keranos is pretty important too. So yeah, there are a lot of ways to build this deck. I feel like this is pretty good though, but I'll definitely look back at it for sideboarding. So I'm going to submit, and I'll see you for the match. Alright, ready for the match. Play first, we'll keep this hand. Okay, could lead with Temple. I think I'm going to wait a turn. I feel like my scry's gonna be a little bit more value once I see my next card. So if I see a land next, like if I scry this turn, I see a land. I'm gonna put it on the bottom, though I might need that land. Or if I wait a turn, I'm gonna draw a land or a spell, and then my scry is gonna be a little more accurate. So, you know, I might draw a 2-drop, in which case, yeah, I can maybe cast off the island. Like, there's some negative effects that happen from this, but I feel like there's enough value from seeing one extra card. So, Isolated Chapel. So now I have double white, and I have my 4th land. So now I can just put any land on the bottom, other than Mountain, which I might keep on top. Red spell I'd put on bottom. So Summit. 1, 2, 4, 5. Yeah, put Summit on top. I like having the option to go for FTK on turn 4 here. Otherwise I might Fact of Fiction, end a turn, and set up Archmage on turn 5. My mana base looks pretty good at the moment. I just got all the right lands just in perfect order. Raise the alarm. So it could be a green-white tokens deck. Most white decks don't just play raise, so opponent could have Glorious Anthem effects. There's some green token makers, maybe Murray's Wake. Tarmogoyf, it's pretty good against Fact or Fiction. I'll probably just FTK next turn. Now, hopefully, opponent doesn't play anything super powerful this turn, um, and I can just go for Archmage, and then leave that up the rest of the game. I can pass, go for Fact or Fiction, keep leaving up Archmage, and be able to counter something brutal like a Dictate of Heliod or Moraria's Wake. So if opponent has something like Elspeth, then that would hold me back for a little bit. So I have a Miria Angel. So I can Council's Judgment it, or I can just go for Archmage and wait. Opponent does get a flyer out of the deal, which is sort of annoying. But I think I'd rather just have up the blue so I could counter something like Dictate or Wake next turn. Because if I go for Council's Judgment here and opponent has Dictate, I'm just not going to have ways to deal with it. So, drop Archmage. I think I'm just going to leave back the Kavu. If I attack, opponent can trade 2 soldiers for it, which that's a fair trade, but I'm giving them the option to do that. And they could also potentially take it, force me to use my Archmage and then get in for more damage. But I'm not super concerned about the 1/1 flyers yet. I might not be able to block them. If opponent plays 1 non-creature spell, I'll have to Archmage, and then they'll get in for damage every turn. Okay, Vengevine. Looks like opponent might not have that 5th land. So I'll put FTK on Vengevine. Could Council's Judgment if I'm really afraid the opponent's going to get it back quickly. But I think I can probably buy some time. Temple of Deceit. So I can Factor Fiction and then Temple afterwards. If I Temple now, like if I keep something on top, it's going to be my Factor Fiction pile, which is fine, but I'd rather Factor Fiction, have things split up, and then have a good card on top. So this is probably a reasonable way to cast this. I mean, on the other hand, I guess, yeah, maybe it's better just to wait just so opponent doesn't know what I'm using Factor Fiction for. Whoa! Nice, Voff. 5 spells, including Verdict, which is really nice here. Opponent might do something like Verdict, Mother Runes versus Fetters, Ranger, and Prophetic Bolt. Because I think Verdict is pretty strong here. Might even potentially... okay. I've been having some issues with Factor Fiction myself. You have to actually click the cards. I mean, I assume opponent didn't intend to give me all these. So I can just Temple, hold it for Verdict. I can also play Mother of Runes, but probably just want a Verdict next turn, so I think I'm just going to go for Temple. Wall of Omens, certainly okay, but might not have time to cast it. It's pretty good against Vengevine, though. Yeah, we'll keep it on top. If opponent wants to get back Vengevine, they've got to cast 2 creatures this turn, which is going to make my Supreme Verdict even better. So even though I might take a decent chunk of damage from that, it's going to be hard for them to come back afterwards. I mean, I imagine they didn't mean to give me the 5 cards. It sure is going to help having all 5 of these, but just like Verdict and something else might have been enough. So it looks like opponent's going to cast some spells, get the Vengevine back. No, just Mystic. Okay, block a soldier. Alright, my turn. Yeah. Do I Wrath? Definitely don't have to. I could just Prophetic Bolt the Mirror Angel and pass and just kind of force opponent to do something. Could also Wrath and then have the Prophetic Bolt for afterwards, which is pretty good too. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna Bolt Angel. I have Glenelendra still up. So, leave a blue, white, blue, black. Grab Elspeth. And pass the turn. So opponent's definitely in trouble. I mean, we've got a lot of answers to Planeswalkers. So Karmic Guide. They can maybe get back Vengevine. Could be Angel, but then I would just Wrath. Okay, they get Angel. I don't even necessarily have to Wrath here. Like, I could just Council's Judgment the Angel. But I think Wrath's good here. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I could draw Elspeth afterwards, but I think I'd rather still just leave up the Glenelendra. Okay, Dissolve is nice. So opponent could maybe drop 2 creatures here, get back Vengevine. But then I get to go either Elspeth or Cloudgut Ranger and hold up Dissolve, and then I have my other runes up. So got this game pretty close to locked up. Okay, Deranged Hermit. Might just go with the Hermit of my own with the Ranger to match that. Ancestral Vision. I mean, opponent probably just pays Echo here. And I get to keep up Archmage, so I think it's okay to just Vision, Suspend, then Cloud Goat. I attack with Glenelendra, I'm never blocking with it. Okay, opponent pays. So we got things locked up pretty well, especially with dissolve up. So we can look at how fast can we finish the game. Elspeth giving +3/+3. I could start doing that next turn. If I do it on Cloud Goat and attack with Glenelendra, that's immediately 7. And if I tap the Kifkin, then I can do a 2-turn lethal. That might put my Elspeth at risk. So I block with Wall of Omens, block with with Mother of Runes. So there'd be 5 coming at Elspeth. So Elspeth might go to 1. Opponent would be at they take 9 this turn. They'd be at 9, and then I attack for 6, 7, 8. So I feel like I'm a little bit short there. Math could be slightly off. Either way, it's not necessary to kill that quickly, especially now that I have 2 counters. So I'll probably just play a little bit safer. So I'll just fly in a Kithkin. So I'm going for a 3-turn clock where I just have a ton of counter backup compared to going for... I mean, I could have gone for a 2-turn clock, I believe, but I couldn't... I don't think I could leave up Dissolve. Like, I could cast Elspeth, pump, Council's Judgment, the Hermit, so opponent wouldn't be able to take out Elspeth next turn, and then just Alpha again the turn after. But I just don't see any reason to make like such an aggressive play when like I should just be in such good shape just sitting back. But always a worthwhile exercise to just consider if you can go for a win a turn sooner. Opponent levels to 5. Deranged Hermit can tap for 2 mana. Ashiok. Doesn't really do anything. I think I'll Council Judgment the Hermit. So by doing this, it's just really hard for opponent to put pressure on Elspeth, so I can get a little more aggressive with this attack. I still have multiple counters up. Could also send a Cloud Goat, give it protection, still block next turn, but this is 6, 7, 8, 9, so I have lethal next turn anyway. So opponent gets to play their scary 7 or 8 drop. From their perspective, probably Hornet Queen would be the best answer to my board. I could still Mother Runes on the Cloud Goat and still get in for 8, so Hornet Queen doesn't do it. Morph, the Exalted Angel. Is there another morph I'm not thinking of? Maybe Thelonite Hermit? I didn't think that that was in the set, but by the look of things, that's a Thelonite Hermit. Interesting. I thought it was just Exalted Angel. Did you spend a search tomorrow? I guess it's not Hermit. Alright, so we just win. So, Cloud Goat. Alright, so on to game 2. The opponent's green-white beats with probably some Anthem effects. So yeah, it was Exalted Angel, of course. So we did have a lot of options for how to build the pool. And Terminus probably looks good. And opponent conceded the match. It's a bit unfortunate. Interestingly, I did a sealed right in between the first one I submitted and this one, and did the sealed pool, and opponent just didn't submit their deck. And so I don't know, maybe I'll throw that in too. It's kind of interesting that, yeah. So, yeah, a little unfortunate. Tried to get like a full match in here. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the content. Been loving these Legacy Sealed Cubes. I really can't wait until they do this for, I mean, maybe something like Holiday Cube. But just a better updated version of the Legacy Cube, because I feel like this is one of the weaker cubes that they've had for Legacy Cube, just in general, and then also specifically for Sealed, because they've got such a narrow like vampire deck, and red is just like very diluted after they hated mono red, and mono red is great in draft. In Sealed, where you're evenly split between all the colors, you can't build mono red. So I feel like it would have been better had they used the had they used the Legacy Cube right before the last iteration, or just made a few changes, made it kind of like the one before this. But yeah, pretty excited about it. So hope you enjoy the content, and I'll see you next time.